This is John Stith Pemberton, the inventor of Coke, and this is Asa Candler, the founder of the Coca-Cola Company. I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't the inventor also be the founder? Not in this case. John Pemberton was a lieutenant colonel during the American Civil War who was wounded in the Battle of Columbus. His injury caused him to become a morphine addict, which set him off onto a quest to find a substitute for the problematic drug. After much trial and error, Pemberton created Coca-Cola and started selling it at a pharmacy in Atlanta on May 8, 1886. It sold for 5 cents a glass and was marketed as a medicine, claiming it could cure morphine addiction, indigestion, nerve disorders, headaches, and impotence. This is when Asa Candler came into the picture. Candler wanted Coca-Cola, not just a drink, but all of the drinks. He wanted to own the entire company, and he did. Between April and August 1888, Asa Candler bought out his business partners and the Pembertons' stake in the company. He spent a total of $2,300 and became the sole proprietor of the Coca-Cola Company. In 1892, Asa Candler incorporated the Coca-Cola Company, which is the current company. The first Coke bottles were bottled in Hutchinson bottles in Vicksburg, Mississippi at the Bidenharn Candy Company on March 12, 1894. Sometime later, 2 entrepreneurs from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Benjamin F. Thomas and Joseph B. Whitehead, proposed a better method of bottling to Candler. Candler was so impressed that he gave them control over the bottling rights for $1 that he never even collected. This contract proved to be problematic once the entrepreneurs realized that they can subcontract bottling to other companies, and that Candler had agreed to sell a bottle at 5 cents forever. The Coca-Cola Company was purchased by a group of investors for $25 million on September 12, 1919. The investors were represented by Ernest Woodruff of the Trust Company of Georgia. Coke was reincorporated in Delaware and publicly offered 500,000 shares at $40 a share. The headquarters, though, stayed in Atlanta. Coke had become a national icon by its 50th birthday, and just 9 years after that, it manufactured its 1 billionth gallon of syrup. Coke follows a franchising business model, owning only about 8% of bottlers worldwide. The company itself only manufactures the syrup. That syrup is then sold to bottlers all around the world. These bottlers are franchise owners who hold the rights for bottling for one or more geographical area. The bottlers create the final drink by mixing the syrup with carbonated water and sweeteners and bottling and canning it. They then sell and distribute to retail stores, vending machines, restaurants, and food service providers, after which it is available for you and I to enjoy. Coke today is made of carbonated water, sugar from sucrose and high fructose corn syrup, caffeine, phosphoric acid, caramel coloring, and natural flavoring. The exact formula, however, is a trade secret. At its conception, Coke syrup contained about 5 ounces of coca leaf per gallon, a significant dose. Candler claimed his used a tenth of that amount in 1891 after changing up Pemberton's formula. Coke once contained 9 milligrams of cocaine per glass. In comparison, a typical line of cocaine is comprised of 50 to 75 milligrams of cocaine. The highly addictive drug was removed from the drink by 1903. After 1904, instead of using fresh leaves, Coke started using spent leaves, the leftovers of the cocaine extraction process. Since then, Coke has used a cocaine-free coca leaf extract. The extract is prepared at a plant run by Stepping Company in Maywood, New Jersey, the only manufacturing plant authorized by the United States government to import and process coca leaves, which it imports from Peru and Bolivia. The extraction is then sold to Mallinckrodt, the only company in the United States licensed to purify cocaine for medicinal use. An interesting fact about the drink is that it stayed at a price of 5 cents from 1886 to 1959, a significantly long time span. This was due to a couple of reasons. For one, Candler sold the bottling rights to Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead for 5 cents a glass, through a loose contract that had no expiration date because he thought bottling would never overtake soda fountains. He was wrong. so he basically agreed to sell Coca-Cola at the same price forever. I must add that this contract was renegotiated in 1921. Another reason is vending machines. Coke owned about 85% of all vending machines in the United States, about 460,000. Because of the lack of technology at the time, these vending machines could not reliably make change, so the company was stuck at the 5-cent price point because customers could only use a nickel. Coke even approached the United States Treasury Department in 1953 to ask if they could create a 7.5-cent coin. This obviously didn't end up happening. The end of the 5-cent Coke came when inflation in the United States began to accelerate in the 1940s. Prices went up to 6 cents as early as 1950 as vending machine technology started making improvements and change could be made. By 1959, the last of the 5-cent Cokes had been sold. Coke's bottle design has played a significant role in the drink's popularity. The bottle was created by bottle designer Earl R. Dean and Coca-Cola's general counsel Harold Hirsch in 1915. By 1920, the bottle design had become the standard for the company. The company wanted, and I quote, "a bottle which a person could recognize even if they felt it in the dark, and so shaped that, even if broken, a person could tell at a glance what it was." Clearly, the company's efforts to create a timeless and iconic bottle paid off. Some could argue that you cannot put a dollar figure on the worth of Coke as a brand, and that's thanks to its marketing campaigns. In fact, Coke is said to have popularized the modern-day image of Santa Claus. To add to that, Coke has probably the most famous ad ever created. Here's the story behind "I'd like to buy the world a Coke."
Teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I like to buy the world and keep it.
This iconic ad took America by storm in 1971. It features the hit song "I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing" in the background while people from all around the world of all shapes and sizes sing on a hilltop in Italy. The ad cost $250,000 US, making it the most expensive commercial at that time. The ad was such a hit that the company received 100,000 letters about it. The idea behind the commercial was to see Coke as less of a drink, but more as a symbol of commonality between all people, a universally liked formula all over the globe. Coke has also battled with PepsiCo in the marketing field. As direct competitors, both companies have attacked each other through advertisements to impose dominance. This rivalry is referred to as the Cola Wars. The Coca-Cola Company is the owner of some of today's most recognizable beverage brands: Fanta, Sprite, Minute Maid, Powerade, Nestea, Fruitopia, Dasani, Smart Water, Vitamin Water, Gold Peak Teas and Coffees, Zico Coconut Water, and Glaceau, just to name a couple. It also owns a stake in Monster Energy. Today, the Coca-Cola Company is run by an astute management team comprised of James Quincy as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Brian Smith as President and Chief Operating Officer, Marco De Quinto as Chief Marketing Officer, Brent Hasty as Senior Vice President of Strategy and Planning, Nancy Kwan as Chief Technology Officer, and Kathy N. Waller as Chief Financial Officer. Since the Coca-Cola Company is a publicly traded company, its financials are available for us to analyze. Let's take a look at the company's balance sheet. For the year of 2019, Coke's total assets equal to $86,381,000,000 US, while its total liabilities column totals up at $65,283,000,000 US, giving it a total book value of $21,098,000,000 US. Profitability also is no issue for Coke. In 2019, revenue was $37,266,000,000 US. Its operating expenses were $27,180,000,000 US. These numbers mean net income was a very impressive $8,920,000,000 US. Pair these impressive numbers with the company's longevity and a healthy dividend yield of 4.16%, and you can understand why Coke stock is referred to as a safe investment and a frame of reference for how well the market is doing as a whole. And that is all for today's video. If you have made it this far, you officially know more about Coke than 99% of the world. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and comment below what companies you would like me to explain next. Thanks guys. Peace.